If you work with data, you know the feeling, right? It is just chaotic. You've got data pouring in from everywhere, in every format you can possibly imagine. And for years, we've been trying to get a handle on it. But honestly, it feels like the problem is only getting bigger. So how do we actually fix this? Well, there's a new architecture called the Data Lakehouse that claims to have the answer. Okay, let's dive into this.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by breaking down the modern data dilemma. Then we'll explore the Data Lakehouse as the solution. We'll look at a real-world example, Databricks, see how it all works in action, learn some tough lessons from their own internal journey, and then wrap up with a little peek into what's next. All right, let's kick things off with the fundamental problem. And really, it's this constant battle between order and flexibility. Think about it for a second. You want your data to be perfectly organized, totally reliable, but at the same time, you absolutely need the flexibility to explore new ideas and handle all sorts of unexpected information. This tension right here is at the heart of the whole modern data dilemma. So you have to ask why, after all these years of innovation, is this still so ridiculously hard? Well, it comes down to the sheer volume, velocity, and variety of data. It has just exploded. We're talking everything from neat, structured customer records to messy, unstructured web logs and video. Our traditional tools, they just weren't built for this new reality, and that has forced us into a really tough choice between two very different, old-school approaches. Think of it like this. On one side, you've got the data warehouse. Let's call it the mom. It's incredibly organized, structured, super precise. Everything has its place, which is perfect for your classic business intelligence reports. But it's also very rigid. You know, if you bring home some new weird type of data, it doesn't really know what to do with it. Then, on the other side, you have the data lake. We'll call it the dad. The dad is adventurous, flexible, and he'll accept anything you throw at him. But all that freedom, it can lead to total chaos. It can quickly turn into a messy, unreliable data swamp where you can't find a thing. So how do you get that organized reliability of the warehouse with the awesome flexibility of the lake? Well, that is the exact problem the Data Lakehouse was designed to solve. It's about getting the best of both worlds. And here's the big idea. A data lakehouse isn't some brand new product you buy off the shelf. It's a new architecture. It brilliantly combines the low-cost, super flexible storage of a data lake with all the reliability, governance, and powerful analytics that you'd normally only get from a data warehouse. It's all about unifying these two worlds into one single cohesive system. Now, let's look at the key features that really make this possible. First up, openness. This is a big one. It's built on open formats, so you're not locked into one single vendor for the rest of your life. Next, and this is a huge deal, it supports something called ACID transactions. And that's a technical term, but all it really means is that it brings reliability to the Wild West of the data lake, preventing your data from getting corrupted. It's basically a safety net. Then you've got proper governance for data quality and security, which makes sure your data is actually trustworthy. And finally, it creates a single source of truth that can power everything, from your basic business dashboards to your most advanced AI models. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in practice? Let's take a look at how this vision is made real by checking out a leading lakehouse platform, Databricks. So the story of Databricks actually starts in academia. The core technology, Apache Spark, was born at UC Berkeley back in 2009. It was an open-source project for handling massive amounts of data. Then, in 2013, the original creators of Spark founded Databricks to build a managed, enterprise-grade platform around it. If you look under the hood, Databricks is really built on three key open-source pillars. First, you have Apache Spark, which is the powerful processing engine that does all the heavy lifting. Then there's Delta Lake, and this is kind of the secret sauce. It's a storage layer that adds that crucial warehouse-style reliability directly on top of your data lake. And for the AI and machine learning folks, there's MLflow, which helps manage the entire lifecycle of your models, from experimentation all the way to deployment. All right, we've covered the history, we've covered the technology. Now let's see what kind of tangible value this actually creates. Let's look at the lakehouse in action. This quote just perfectly captures the old way of thinking. For decades, we've treated data like a byproduct, like it's just the exhaust fumes coming out of our applications. And you know what? This mindset is the root cause of one of the biggest problems in enterprise data, silos. And this slide just brilliantly illustrates the shift that has to happen. The old application-first model is vertical. Each app has its own little data silo. It's a mess. The Lakehouse enables a data-first model, where you treat data like a horizontal utility. Think of it like a city's water supply.
It's a shared resource that flows freely to power every single part of the business, from dashboards all the way to AI models. So, what does this look like for an actual user? Let's take marketing, for example. This new data-first world, powered by the Lakehouse, is creating what people are calling the 10x marketer. This is someone who can make 10 times better decisions, move 10 times faster, and scale their work using AI, all because they have unified, real-time data just flowing from that central utility. But let's be real, achieving this 10x vision is not easy. In fact, Databricks' own marketing team was living in that old, chaotic world. Before they adopted their own Lakehouse architecture, get this, they were drowning in over 300 different dashboards. It was just chaos, duplicated data, multiple sources of truth. I'm sure it's a problem a lot of organizations can relate to. So, to fix this, they implemented a really simple but incredibly powerful pattern called the Medallion Architecture. Think of it like a data quality pipeline with 3 stages. First, data lands in the bronze layer. This is just the raw, untouched data from all your sources. Next, it moves to the silver layer. This is where the real work happens. Here, the data is cleaned, it's filtered, it's transformed into a much more structured and useful format. And finally, you have the gold layer. This is where you create pristine, business-ready data products, perfectly prepared for analytics and AI. This structured flow is absolutely key to turning a data swamp into a reliable source of truth. Now, this process of a company using its own product is often called dog fooding. And the story of how Databricks tamed its own data chaos is packed with valuable lessons for anyone who's on a similar journey. This quote from Databricks' own head of data platform is just so revealing. He straight up admitted that even they, the company that builds the platform, had a data swamp. And it just proves that technology alone is not the answer. You also need strategy and you need discipline. So what were their key takeaways from being in the trenches? First, standardization is critical. I know it's not the sexy part, but having a solid data foundation is absolutely essential. Second, always co-develop solutions with the business. This makes sure you're solving real problems and not just building tech for the sake of tech. Third, you need executive sponsorship. This gives you the air cover to make big changes while the business keeps running. And finally, centralize the platform. Having one team manage one lakehouse prevents the whole organization from just fracturing back into a bunch of data silos.
And this brings us to our final thought. We've talked a lot about taming the data chaos of today, but the next wave of complexity, well, it's already on the horizon. Think about this for a second. Databricks found it challenging to govern data for 8,000 human employees. Now imagine a future where every single employee has an army of autonomous AI agents working for them. How in the world do you govern 100,000 of these agents all operating inside your data? It's a massive, massive challenge, and it really underscores why having a single, well-governed, unified data foundation like a lakehouse isn't just important for today, it is absolutely essential for surviving the future.